Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. I am Matt, the mad scientist Matt, and I've got a perspective on things. Oh.
Hey, my name's Ray. What's going on, guys? Oh, I'm so virtuous. My name is Ray. I feel so superior, and I have opinions on things, man. You ready to get going? At any point of the show, when I want to feel virtuous, I'm just going to do this. Because I'm just going to be so virtuous because I'm I'm so concerned. I'm so virtuous.
Well, you're down with critical race theory, so...
Huh?
You're down with critical race theory and intersectionality.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not. Dude, welcome to Plausible Foolishness, man. It is going to be a phenomenal show. What episode is this, man? 111?
Correct. 111.
110?
And let me tell you, this is going to... No, it's 111. And we're going to be... This is a mostly peaceful live stream.
Okay.
Right, mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful. This is the mostly peaceful live stream, episode 110.
111.
Yay. Oh, is it 111?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know what day it is, bro.
I know, but you said 111, and then I said, yes, it's 111 like three times.
Sorry, man. I was just too busy being virtuous.
That's true, yeah.
I was too busy just being virtuous. Mm-hmm. I was too busy just being... I mean... I've saved racism just by putting a black square on the screen.
I'm going to throw a challenge out to the Rube Empire.
Ooh, a challenge to the Rube Empire? What you got, bro?
I want you to come up with a sound, and you can post it in the Discord. I'll put the list. Come up with a sound that is the virtue signal.
Virtue signal. No? Virtue signal.
It's got to be. I don't think it should be words, but that's just my opinion. Submit your suggestion.
That sound should be like angelic, like or like
Yeah. Have you heard that? Like you've seen some. I don't know if you watch any kind of like video gamer type things. Okay. And they'll have this anime girl sound where she goes like, ah, and it sounds like there's sparkles and stuff. Whenever they open something and it's shiny and new or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah, man. But no, seriously, man. Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. Welcome to the Rube Empire. This is episode 111. This is the mostly peaceful podcast. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for everybody following us everywhere on Instagram, Facebook. Where else are we? Twitter. We're obviously on TikTok. We're on the Strong One TikTok. We're on the Plausible Foolishness TikTok. Our main show, the main deal is on Twitch. So if you're on TikTok right now watching this, you want to watch the full show. If you want to watch me and the mad scientist, Mad Matt, hash out the topics of the day, you got to head over to twitch.tv/plausible foolishness. If you're watching live streaming right now on TikTok, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in. But you're missing out on some amazing videos, amazing things that my man Matt has got prepared. So make sure you head over to twitch.tv/plausible foolishness to come help us out. And when you're over at Twitch, make sure you give us a what is it? It's a like. Is it a like or a subscribe? What is it again?
Okay, so a follow means you get notifications. A subscribe means you support our channel.
Whoa, wait, subscribe is like you really like us.
Subscribe is legit.
I mean, right? You're so legit. You're as legit as know.
A follow makes you a citizen.
I mean, you're so legit that you put a black square
for sure
on your social media. I mean, that makes you so legit. But for us, it actually helps out the cause and helps us do what we need to do. It's funny. I can see the black square on the TikTok live feed. It looks even better on the live feed. It's hilarious on the live feed. I cannot wait to roast this all day. But long story short is this. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you for our Patreon.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Dusty. Thank you so much for supporting us and helping us do what we've got to do, which is debunk the stupidity that is out there in this world and, raise a little bit of ruckus because we all know that truth tellers are hated, especially me and the mad scientist, Mad Matt, because we're the fastest growing political show on Twitch. And people us, hate us. It's a beautiful combination. So we love your love and we love your hate too. So thank you so much.
Also, if you want to support us further, and I know that some of you already are.
Yep.
But spreading the word helps us grow.
100%.
And growth is what any, small business needs. And frankly, we're trying to make this a small business.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is we want to. The mission, the reason we started how we started, like 2 years ago, we started the show.
Just about, yeah.
2 years ago, man. Jeez, we've been doing it for 2 years, rocking and rolling, just taking over the world, man. But we did this just to debunk the stupidity that we had to watch and endure every single day on our mainstream media pages.
Well, yeah, we were having conversations with just amongst ourselves, and we were like, we should do a podcast. And then you were like, oh, well, actually, my wife was like, you guys should do a podcast. And I said that to you.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay, let's go.
Let's go, bro.
That was your initial. That was the sentence that followed. My wife says, we should do a podcast. Okay, let's do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Finally, somebody who wants to actually collaborate with me. Super.
And it has been a fun ride since. We're at episode 111 today, and we've got to talk about the topics that are there, and we've got to give you the opinions of normal, rational human beings.
Dusty says,
real America.
Watch out for the roaming looters. They're targeting small businesses. So.
Yeah, watch out. The roaming looters. Well, you got to watch out for it because, you got to hijack a tragedy, but it is what it is, man. So it's all good. Got my Notre Dame cup today, so I'm really going to catch some heat on this show, so it's going to be fun. I'm just going for full-scale nuclear heat today, okay? I'm going to diss this all day for the entire show, and then I'm going to come out with the Fighting Irish, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So here's the deal. I have to make a confession before we start the show, though. I've got to make a confession, okay? Mm-hmm. I've tried my darndest to stay off of social media. The whole goal was for the strong one to completely purge himself from this mud monster machine that is social media. The same social media that has told you for many years that Donald Trump wouldn't be president. Remember that fun stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They were wrong there. The same social media that told you to stay the F at home. We're all going to die from corona. It's so weird. They got really quiet about that. Just
wear your masks, people. Just wear them.
Just wear your mask.
Is it so hard?
I'm so confused in 2020 how to enter a store now. Is it with a mask or with a brick? I don't know which one is which now in 2020. Which one is it? Because last week we had to wear a mask, but this week we're encouraged to take a brick to stores. So which one is it? Do you know?
I don't.
Now, here's the other thing. I was told that World War III was about to happen on this app, remember? I was told that Donald Trump was the next coming of Hitler.
Well,
all the black people were going to die.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid...
He shook hands with Kim Jong-un.
Huh?
He shook hands with Kim Jong-un.
Well, the funny thing about that is we were told that he would start World War III with him. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, first because he was calling him Rocket Man.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to World War III. Well, this was before the World War III with Iran that lasted a whole 4 hours. Remember that?
Yeah.
But the world was supposed to end because Donald Trump pissed off Little Rocket Man. And then it's weird. He went to North Korea and actually, built a bridge and de-escalated the tensions. First president to ever do that.
Yeah, but he didn't really. He didn't really.
He didn't really. So the same social media that gets it wrong all the frickin' time that I'm trying to...
You mean the social media that is repeating the mainstream media constantly?
That is repeating the mainstream media. Leftist academia that's not really that academic. Hollywood. Pedophile Pettywood. All of these establishment BS bullcrap that's out there that they push all the time and are always wrong. I just wanted to take my summer break. I wanted to go away. I wanted to disappear. I just wanted to sit back and laugh at the stupid. Okay? I just wanted to watch ridiculous memes about funny things, fart jokes, dad jokes, stupid stuff. That's all I wanted, Matt. And I wanted to come on here every Wednesday night like we do, bring the noise, tear down the curtain, burn it down like we do every single week with you, and just react to the stupid. But guess what? I couldn't get away from it. I could. Is it partly because I'm an addict to this thing? Possibly.
Yes.
But here's the problem. The very first day, I tried to get away from social media. The very first day I tried to run from this, run to the hills, go in and have Zen-like focus and disappear. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I get a text from this guy immediately. Come back on the screen. Where'd you go? This guy right here. He did it.
Yeah, I did.
He starts with the rage.
Well, it was more sadness.
It was. He sucks me back into the rage. So of course the strong one has to rebuttal, because the problem is there's 19-year-olds and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds that will believe this stupidity, and we have adults that have the intelligence of about a 13 and 14-year-old kid spewing all this stupidity. And then I wake up and look at Instagram looking for dad jokes, and all I can see is this. And I'm told that this is for solidarity with Black Lives Matter. The hashtag is Black Lives Matter or Blackout Tuesday. You know what's missing in that entire situation? What was the whole reason the rioting and looting and madness started? George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd.
Ever heard of that guy?
I have.
We forgot him faster than we forgot Ahmaud Arbery. We forgot him faster than we forgot a lot of things really quickly. And we're so focused on the Black Lives Matter movement that has hijacked a situation, a sad and terrible situation, where a guy gets arrested and has a knee put in the back of his neck for 9 straight minutes, possibly leading to his death, which led to his death, right? Or, people argue whatever. Mm-hmm. 9 times a day, regardless. Here's what's blowing me away, Matt. If anything proved that this nation's not racist, was the collective outrage of every single person that saw that video.
But, okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but isn't George Floyd's life the black life that Black Lives Matter are protesting in honor of?
Well, here's the problem. How do you honor a man's life by destroying other people's lives?
Well, that's the protesters, not the rioters.
Regardless, here's the thing. His brother literally is telling people, do not riot. Don't destroy things. This is not even close to what my brother would have wanted.
Sure. But the people would argue that Black Lives Matter are the protesters, they're not the rioters.
Crazy.
But like you said earlier, but they're creating the situation where the rioters, where Antifa can manipulate.
Oh, of course.
Things, and I mean, and they're stoking the outrage.
Yes.
They are creating the conditions in which Antifa is prepared.
Yes.
To come in
and
hijack it.
And magical bricks waiting.
It's not even. I was watching Tim Pool, and he made a good point. It's not even really hijacking; they're just directing sales.
Yeah.
They're like, just follow us into mayhem, and they're like, and the people are ready to go.
And here's what's the amazing thing: the outcry for the death of this man should have been justice. True or false?
True. I mean, that's what they say it is.
Okay,
so cries for justice.
Before any of these riots happened, all 4 of these cops were fired. Yes or no?
Correct.
Okay. The Friday morning, before some of the nastier riots started happening, the main cop got arrested. True or false?
True. Very true.
So the man that perpetrated this death is arrested, We don't know what his motives were. It got hijacked as he's racist because of a white cop. We neglect the fact that the other 3 cops were not white at all. They're Hispanic and Asian, but we won't talk about that, okay? Now, we arrest the guy who puts the knee on the back of the neck, and tons of riots ensue over the weekend.
Yeah. Are you claiming?
Sorry, I got to finish this point.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because we got people chirping on TikTok right now. The magical thing is, as a result of all this craziness, how many people died? Just the death toll since the rioting started. What was it?
That would be confirmed 11 so far as I know. Possibly 13, and 5 of which are black.
Oh, wait, I missed that last. What was that last point?
5 of whom are black.
Yeah, let me read these names for the Black Lives Matter jabronis out here. So here it is. So let me break this down even simpler. As a result of justice for George Floyd that got hijacked by Black Lives Matter, justice is served because now all 4 of those cops are arrested. The main cop got arrested on Friday. After the fact that he was arrested, these riots happened. 13 possible people are dead, 11 confirmed. 5 of those are black people. Let me read their names for you, just so, because, they won't do this on the mainstream media. David Patrick Underwood, black man, died because of Black Lives Matter. Maybe I should make this a little bit more dramatic while I'm reading this. Italia Kelly, David McCatty, Chris Betty, and David Dorn. Did any of you hear those voices? Was there an outcry from Black Lives Matter for these 5 black people? Did you hear it?
I haven't. I've heard an outcry from conservative media over David Dorn.
Wait, those racist conservatives care about black people? Yeah. Who'd have thunk?
Well, they're obviously just like President Trump. They're who mentioned him and memorialized him. They're just using a black body as cover for their white supremacy.
Yeah, but here's the problem, and unfortunately, 1, that's completely fraudulent, but 2, here's the issue. The issue is this, very simply. How in the world do you do this and say that Black Lives Matter, but are crickets when this protest leads to 13 deaths, but you can't say all lives matter, remember, because that's just a gaslighting and evil, but ignore the fact that 5 black people died. One of which was a 77-year-old police force captain named David Dorn.
Retired police force captain.
Retired police captain loses his life over a TV, not George Floyd, not actual lives, but over a frickin' TV. And you want me to partner up with Black Lives Matter? From the bottom of my heart, you can kiss my black behind, period. And it's a human behind too, so I just wanted to be non-hypocritical. but let's get real. You had the entire nation, you had an entire country mourning the death of George Floyd, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that this country is not racist. You had a collective country, the president himself, Donald Trump, saying, this is a tragedy. These guys need to be taken care of for this. True or false? Whole country, we're with this. We're like, dang, man, that is horrible. How did this happen? And it gets hijacked by a group that has proven historically over and over and over again that Black Lives Matter is just a slogan. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. This is the same group that routinely grows quiet the moment you ask them about the 657 black babies that are aborted every single day in America. Guess those black lives don't matter. These are the same people that completely get pissed off when you ask a very simple question. What about the people of Chicago where black on black crime happens every single weekend? Can you please explain to me why 90% of black men are killed by other black men? Can you explain to me why 5 black people are killed in Black Lives Matter protests? Can you explain that to me? How are you still Black Lives Matter when you're fixated on this one tragedy that had nothing to do with race, that had everything to do with a power hungry cop or whatever that abused his position and harmed a person? From the bottom of my cold and dead soul, you can kiss my black butt. Sorry, I yield the floor back to you, man. I'm so sorry, man. I get crazy sometimes.
I wanted to highlight one of the other deaths that is being talked about a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna play a video.
Yeah, hit me with it, bro.
Are you watching on Twitch?
I'm on Twitch. I'm on a little bit of a delay, so I'm gonna rock with you.
Okay.
While you play this video, I'm just gonna do this.
Okay.
In solidarity, because I'm so superior. I'm so.
There's one video going right now. I think is particularly poignant that truly illustrates.
Sorry, couldn't see it.
The seriousness of the issues that we're facing. The mayor mentioned this last night. Protesters intentionally set a fire to an occupied building on Broad Street. This is not the only occupied building that has been set fire to over the last 2 days, but they prohibited us from getting on scene. We had to force our way to make a clear path for the fire department. Protesters intercepted that fire apparatus several blocks away with vehicles and blocked that fire department's access to the structure fire. Inside that home was a child. Officers were able to help those people out of the house. We were able to get the fire department there safely. Sorry. But when you take a legitimate issue and hijack it for unknown reasons, that is unacceptable to me, it's unacceptable to the Richmond Police Department, unacceptable to the City of Richmond. That is unacceptable to me, it's unacceptable to the Richmond Police Department, unacceptable to the City of Richmond.
It's disgusting.
Pretty much.
Paulie DG makes a good point. I want to know why Tony Timpa case was not as big as the George Floyd case.
Because he was white. The same exact thing happens to Tony Timpa.
Exactly.
And crickets.
Exactly the same thing.
The literal exact same scenario we watched with George Floyd. No one talks about it. But we know who George Floyd is, and we don't know who Tony Timpa is. Gee, that's weird. Oh, anybody connecting those dots? That it's really not about like this is the most disgusting and gross thing about this whole George Floyd situation. The most disgusting and gross situation about this. People are using this for a narrative and not for the actual tragedy. Like, death is a horrible thing. Death is final. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, it's over. I mean, it is literally over for you. It's done. Whatever you face afterwards is not going to be awesome. The reality of the situation is death is such a devastating finale. And it's tragic and sad. If any of you have experienced death, which I think all of us have in this world, it's horrendous. Even when we expect it to happen, it's horrible. It's even more tragic when it's not supposed to. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
But this is the amazing thing is, Tony Timpa, the exact same thing happens. Not a word.
No.
George
of course
Floyd
not.
magically happens a couple weeks before we start investigating Obamagate. Magically happens 2 days after the fact that Joe Biden said that I wasn't black because I didn't vote for, I wouldn't vote for him. And right after the fact that weird, they needed a quick exit out of COVID-19 because COVID-19 '84 wasn't exactly working as well as they thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they could ride that thing out to November, and clearly by May we were fed up with it. Because remember, way back Wednesday, remember all of you that protested the lockdown, you were the bad guy. You remember that, Matt?
Oh yeah.
So that was so long ago, the beginning of May.
Mm-hmm.
You were the bad guy because you protested peacefully. How many people died in the protests for opening up the lockdown?
Well, I mean, I don't remember any actual deaths, but I remember the potential deaths were in the millions.
Oh yes. The fact that those people, because remember, stay the F at home, stay home and save lives. Those people were bad because they were spreading the coronavirus and killing grandma and killing everybody because they, God forbid, did not want to be unemployed anymore. I'm sorry. They're the bad guys. Flip the script 1 month later, magically the killer of all killers, coronavirus, disappears, and now we're applauding.
Well,
thousands of people coming together.
Let's take it a step further. Let me read you this article. The headline is Health Experts Back Protests Despite Coronavirus Since White Supremacy is a Lethal Public Health Issue That Predates and Contributes to COVID-19. And contributes. Let me read this. Dozens of public health and disease experts said the risks of contracting COVID-19 at large protests shouldn't deter people from demonstrating against racism, National Public Radio reported, citing an open letter penned by the health experts. The health experts, whoever they are. It says,
that they never cite. Yeah. That they never cite, by the way.
Yeah.
The anonymous people, aka CNN people. But keep going.
What are the details? White supremacy is a lethal public health issue that predates and contributes to COVID-19, the letter said, according to NPR. Initially written by infectious disease experts at the University of Washington. Okay, so they did cite it. The letter cited a number of systemic problems, from the disproportionately high rate at which black people have been killed by police in the U.S. to disparities in life expectancy and other vital categories, including black Americans' higher death rate from the coronavirus. Local governments should not break up crowded demonstrations under the guise of maintaining public health, the experts said in their open letter. They urged law enforcement agencies not to use tear gas, smoke, and other irritants, saying they could make people more susceptible to infection and worsen existing health conditions. According to Slate, the letter said protests shouldn't be viewed primarily as potentially adding to coronavirus cases, but rather as a tool to promote public health. As protests address the...
Time out. Black Lives Matter does it. Good. People want to get back to work. Bad. Mm-hmm. Is that what it is?
Yes. 100%. So it's a tool to promote public health as protests address the paramount public health problem of pervasive racism.
Yes.
We express solidarity and gratitude toward demonstrators who have already taken on enormous personal risk to advocate for their own health, the health of their communities, and the public health of the United States.
I have a very basic science question for you, Matt. Question. How many unarmed black men died by police in 2019?
I believe the answer was 9.
9 unarmed black men were killed by police in 2019. Guess how many people died from the flu last year?
Last year? Well, so leading from 2018 leading into 2019?
Yes.
In America, I believe it was 80,000, right?
It was 80,000. Liberal logic.
Yeah.
Wait. So, systemic racism is more deadly than the 80,000 people that died from flu last year. That's not including pneumonia, by the way, which is 47,000. So, 100.
I mean, well, they're being killed disproportionately.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Disproportionately.
Gotcha. So, the 200,000 plus deaths due to illness, basic illnesses, common illnesses that we ignore on a regular basis in America, is not as deadly as the 9 men that were that died that were unarmed by police officers. Is that the summation?
Correct.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry. I just
Now,
want to make sure liberal logic here.
I want to ask another question related to those 9 deaths.
Sure.
So 9 people died. That's terrible. That sucks. 9 unarmed people died.
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't
how many unarmed black men had interactions with the police that didn't die?
Well, we don't want to talk about that. We can't talk about the whole picture. We have a narrative to protect here. We have to protect the narrative. Matt, listen, man, we have to protect the black squares.
You're right. My bad. That was just my white supremacy showing.
Listen, your white supremacy is ignoring the fact that literally 9 unarmed black men died in the hands of police last year. Just so we're clear, 19 white men died the same way, by the way.
19.
Yeah, so weird. 6 Hispanic men the same way. But how many interactions do cops have with black people in America in general? Well, I mean, that would be in the hundreds of thousands. And nobody died. That's weird. But we can't talk about that because that blows up the narrative, you evil MAGA hat wearing white supremacist.
You're right. I'm just unconsciously trying to maintain white supremacy at all costs. And my privilege is showing.
Cressy77 on TikTok. 2 of the 9 were actually charged. So they were charged for what they did. The other 7 were being attacked by officers. But Black Lives Matter. Right?
The other 7 were...
Yeah, they were being attacked by officers.
So the officers attacked the black guys? No, they attacked the officers.
The 4 innocent, completely sinless,
unarmed black men
attacked the cops, and they died.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Oh, let me get my square ready.
God, man. Cops are the worst.
I am so superior right now. I am so superior. I am so woke, and I'm so superior right now with my black square.
I don't know if you're superior, but you're darn sure humble.
Listen, I am so superior. I put a black square on my Instagram in solidarity of Black Lives Matter that routinely hijacks bad situations, puts a race tent on them, ignores the 657 black babies that are aborted every single day, ignores the fact that 90% of black homicides come from other black men, ignore the 5 people that died in these protests. I'm superior. Look how superior I just became.
Whoa.
I am so superior,
dude,
bro.
I'm blown away by how superior you just got.
I am so superior. I am so with it. I am so woke because of this, bro.
There's no denying it.
I'm just no denying now. I've got a black square.
That's just plain fact. That's just 100% fact.
I have to cite my sources on this though. I stole this gag from somebody.
Oh yeah?
I stole this gag.
Okay.
I stole it from the master troll himself.
Who is the master troll?
Yeah. So he gets on the other day and he puts on the little foam noodle hat with the 6 feet of foam noodle going across the head. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't. Oh, well, yes. You sent me that video. I didn't actually get a chance to watch it, but yeah, the social distancing hat.
Well, time out. Do we have a new follower on
No, Peyton Hastings is hosting us, so thank you
Thanks, Peyton.
for
appreciate
hosting
you, brother.
it. We appreciate that.
But yes,
and to all your viewers, welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the show. He puts a hat on. He's got the big long foam noodles. I guess they're doing it in Germany. And the whole time he's like, "I am superior. I am social distancing. I feel amazing. And then the hat would fall off and he'd be like, oh God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die of COVID-19. I'm going to die. It was the funniest thing, man. It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Texas Wilson makes a comment on TikTok. He asks how many white men were murdered by blacks. Well, we can't talk about that either.
Yeah.
Because that would ruin the narrative. That would completely ruin the narrative if we actually talk about it. It's crazy, man.
You know, I wonder about that.
What?
Like
they
well, okay.
Ignore those numbers?
They definitely ignore those numbers.
And
that's just undeniable. But either way, I think they want us to be asking those questions. They want us who hold these ideas to be asking that question. Because either way, it divides us.
Yes.
You know, because it's black man versus white man.
Yeah.
Still. You know,
they took a flashpoint that clearly proved that America was not racist when you had the entire collective of our country upset that George Floyd was killed this way and use it as a way to divide. Because here's the thing with Black Lives Matter. I understand what they're trying to accomplish, but it's based on a lie. It's based on division. They get pissed when you say all lives matter, and then when you ask questions like, well, gee, how many white guys are killed by blacks? And then you show them the stats. I think I posted on the show one time, but it was like last year, I think it was like 19 unarmed white people were killed by cops. Like 429 white people were killed last year by cops. So it was like 200 that were killed that were black. So it's like double the number of whites. But, you know, if you ask those questions, you're a racist for asking that question, right?
Or an Uncle Tom if your skin color is slightly different.
Well, no, Uncle Tom is Uncle Toms don't exist anymore, because if you vote for Donald Trump, you're not even black. So I can't be called an Uncle Tom anymore.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Joe Biden, thank you, Joe Biden. You have freed me from the shackles of the Uncle Tom. That should be my next TikTok video when I'm supposed to not come back until July. Be like, does this mean I'm not an Uncle Tom anymore because I'm not even black anymore? But yeah, dude. I mean, that's the funny
You're
thing.
Just a super tan white guy.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing, the most hypocritical thing about Black Lives Matter, and I keep seeing this analogy, and they think it's really smart until you break it down. They're like, well, saying all lives matter is like when somebody comes up to you and says, my hand's bleeding, my hand's bleeding, and I need help with this hand bleeding, and you're like, well, all hands matter, so, my hand's good, so we're all good. Which is hilarious, because I'm like, well, in that same analogy, then you would be ignoring your broken leg from the fact that 90% of deaths or homicides by black men are done by black men, and then you would have to ignore the fact that your head's decapitated because you let 657 of your black babies get aborted every single day. So horrible analogy. I appreciate it. I feel bad for your finger that's bleeding, but your head's decapitated and your leg's broken. I mean, you've got some other issues too to deal with. So, like,
yeah, this isn't I mean, this is what we talked about on Sunday. This is never an issue in one's own community.
Yeah,
it's always the other is at fault.
Of course, because
they talk about us otherizing them.
Yes,
and all they're doing is otherizing
people. The whole point of Black Lives Matter is division. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with what it says it is.
No,
it's a fraudulent bullcrap. And when you start doing this crap and thinking that you're massively virtuous, like, look, I am superior.
Now, to be fair, there are, I imagine, a good deal of people who just plain don't know any better. And are truly trying to be in solidarity with, I mean, it's no doubt a virtue signal. It's no doubt a virtue signal, even if you are ignorant.
This means that I'm superior, man. I am virtuous. I am not like those other white people, all 5 of them that are racist in our entire country. I'm not like those people because I do this. I'm not like them. But no, to your point, to be fair, gosh, I love that we get to be fair in this episode of this show. Thank you, Letterkenny.
Yes.
Listen, I don't hate, take it back, I don't hate him. I heartily dislike Justin Trudeau, but I love you, Canada, for giving us great beer, Molson, Labatt, and Letterkenny and Trailer Park Boys. I appreciate that. I can quote that all day long because, I grew up on a trailer park. But I ain't straight out of Compton, brother. I'm straight out the trailer. You know what I mean?
And let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So, like, have you experienced over policing as a black man? Or, what was your experience growing up in small town Ohio?
I'll call it out. So it is what it is. I knew, just to be fair, that there was a town called Tip City. Clearly, it's not this way anymore because half the kids I see in the videos there are biracial now. So some brown guys snuck into the mix in that town. Let's just say that. But there was a city that I did not drive through at nighttime because every time that I would drive through, I would get pulled over. Now, that's a very true story. Now, did the cops pull me out and try to arrest me, shake me down, beat me up? No, not at all. I think that when I was going through there in the 90s and early 2000s, there may have been that old school, old boys, whatever bullcrap that was going on. I personally was never taken out of a car, shaken down. I was always respectful of the police, even though didn't get tickets, which was hilarious. I never got a ticket, got pulled over a few times, and I'm not being dramatic like the ladies that posted the video, like he tried to assault me with the video cam footage, and it was completely fraudulent. But it was just that where are you from, where are you going, blah 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 stuff. I think one time they recognized me because of my sports accolades from small town Ohio, and they're like, "Hey, gee golly, I saw you play basketball. Go ahead, brother." You know what I mean? One of those. That's a true story. That was hilarious. I think it was for football, not basketball. He's like, "Oh, you're that Afro kid," because I had an Afro. I was like,
you're that Afro kid. That's hilarious.
You're that Afro kid from the Christian school. Okay, you're a good boy. Have a good one. It was like one of those, you know what I mean? So, which was
That's
funny.
Cool.
But crazy, I just was respectful and didn't get crazy or didn't say F you pig or anything like that. I was just like, what seems to be the problem, officer? Which I saw modeled from my dad. Weird. My dad, when he got pulled over, would always say, "What seems to be the problem, officer?" And he was super nice. And you know what's funny is my dad never got a ticket. And I still don't get tickets. It's so weird. And I'm a big brown guy. I mean, I should be shot immediately, right?
Yeah.
I should be shot. I'm one of the statistics, bro. I had an interaction with a cop and survived. I mean, I know the percentages were really against me, but come on, man. It's so crazy. Right? So I'm not going to tell you that everybody and their brother, like the only racism that I really experienced, to be fair, in that time period, was white girls literally telling me, "I can't date you because you're black. I can make out with you, I can do other things with you, and that's all I'm going to leave it at because I've turned from my sins."
This was BC.
Huh?
This was BC.
BC.
Yeah.
Well, no, this was. I got saved at 13, so I was a little squirrely. Let's just say it took me a little bit to fully start getting sanctified.
Gotcha.
But they would do all these things, but couldn't date you because my dad doesn't like black guys. Now, part of me thinks half of those were bullcrap, to be fair, because magically I would run into their dads and they'd be completely cool with me. Now, they could be secretly like, "I don't want my daughter dating a black guy." But what's funny is I know 2 of them ended up marrying black guys. And I've seen the dads in the pictures with their grandkids. It's so weird. It's like they don't give a crap when those grandbabies come out. One was probably legit. 2 of them were like, but that was pretty much the extent of whatever. But you know what's funny is it didn't stop me from pursuing my dreams. It didn't stop me from finishing school. It didn't stop me from being a collegiate athlete. It didn't stop me from being a Hall of Fame athlete. Blah blah blah. Sorry, I had to brandish the ring, dude. I'm sorry. I had to brandish it. You know what I mean? I had to be that guy.
I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you.
Hall
hey,
of
man.
Fame, bro.
Yeah, if I got a Hall of Fame ring, I'd darn sure be wearing it. When I get into that science fiction fantasy writers Hall of Fame, they give me that ring.
Well, you know what's funny is I used to make fun of like Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, and they'd always be playing with their Hall of Fame ring, their Hall of Fame ring. And now I've got one, and I'm just like, yeah, Hall of Fame ring, yeah. Four Horsemen, dude. I'm watching so much old school wrestling right now. I'm loving every second of that. But what I was gonna say was that was the extent of racism. Now, did I hear the N word? Absolutely. Most of the time, it was from somebody that I was kicking their butt in a sport. To be fair, okay. Basketball trash talk is trash talk. Did I partake in some of that trash talk? Absolutely. Now, I never called anybody the N word. I got called into the office a few times for the words that came out of my mouth while I was playing those sports. But conversely, those same guys would say the N word, blah, 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 as I, kick their living, teeth in. It is what it is. But the funny thing is those words, those racist dads that Tip City, Ohio, sorry, I keep putting Tip City on blast, but it's true. It's true. I'll put Tip City on blast. I don't think it's that bad anymore. But what's funny is none of that actually stopped me. It's funny. Their racism or perceived racism did not stop me from doing anything. So weird how that works. Their racism did not stop me from doing the things that I wanted to do or the things that God allowed me to do. Does that make sense?
But the system is against you.
Where?
Well, I mean, it's systemic. It's institutionalized racism.
But what did the system stop me from doing? I'm in control of my choices.
No, but the system.
Which system?
The system.
But the system, did it stop me from going to school?
But there's a lot of poor black people.
Actually, the system made it easier for me to go to school. That affirmative action.
Okay, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe you were one of the lucky ones.
Oh,
but there's a lot of poor black people in the inner cities. In the democratically controlled inner cities that aren't so lucky.
Oh, that's weird. So they have
don't you know about Emmett Till and Black Wall Street and the KKK and the GI Bill that
when that happened?
Well, it started in 1944, and blacks weren't allowed to participate, even though they served in the military.
So 100 years ago.
Well, I don't know exactly when it ended, but
so how did that stop me today?
Well, there's a lot of wealth that's been missing. They stole a lot of wealth, and that's why we're seeing the poverty of today.
What are you talking about?
I mean, this is the arguments that are being made. Like, Black Wall Street was a bunch of wealthy black business owners in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They were doing so well, and then they got murdered and their businesses burned down, and that's wealth all gone.
Oh, okay.
From the black community.
So I have a question. How do you explain Madam C.J. Walker at the same exact period was the first female millionaire in American history?
Yeah. Fresh out of slavery.
Literally fresh out of slavery. She literally came from slavery and became the very first millionaire that was a woman in the United States of America.
There's outliers. There's outliers like you.
Oh.
But this is stolen wealth. Not to mention all the stolen labor from slavery.
So how do you explain rich people that squander their wealth?
Well, that's my argument. See, this is fundamentally underneath all of these arguments is a Marxist view.
What's envy?
Of wealth. It's not just envy. It's also a Marxist view of economics, where there's a limited amount of wealth.
Sure.
And if you have more, that means you took it from somebody else.
That's
why we must have equality, equity.
Gotcha.
No.
Does that go back to the globalist mindset that there's limits to everything? With like how they say that the world's going to end because weather changes? Does that go back to that same principle?
Yep.
Is that why
the population bomb principle?
Oh, the population bomb.
There's limited resources on this planet, and we're gonna outproduce them. We're gonna reproduce so much that we're going to just strip the planet of all its resources and then we'll just waste away.
I hope the Rubes took my challenge up. Please look up the square footage. Literally, we can take every single human being that's alive on this planet, give them a house and an acre of land, and everyone can fit in the landmass of Alaska. But this is the insanity. Like GDP itself has vastly increased over the years. Like the more that I'm working in the banking world, the more that I'm seeing the like. Do people understand how much money is out there? Like, do people understand that?
Well, they don't understand. No, they don't understand, and
Clearly they don't.
they don't understand the principle of wealth creation.
100%.
They also don't understand or refuse to listen to the arguments that well, first of all, the plantation owners not as wealthy as we thought they were, as we think they are. In fact, the North was doing far superior economically because of innovations that never came to the South because they had they had free labor. Yeah, they had free labor, so they didn't innovate.
100%.
So that's one. Two, white people in the South aren't living off of the wealth of these plantation owners.
It was because in the Civil War.
There's that. That's a big one. That's for sure. I hadn't even thought about that, but that's for sure. Those plantations got burnt down in the Civil War.
Yes.
Secondly, let's say that one survived, which I'm sure there were many that survived, but let's take the ones that survived it, and were, relatively wealthy. That money got divided amongst descendants, and it's gone now.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the Vanderbilts. Vanderbilt was the wealthiest man ever.
Yes.
No person has acquired more wealth than him.
Nope.
In their lifetime, and this is numbers adjusted for inflation.
How many slaves did Vanderbilt have?
None. Well, I mean, we can talk about the Federal Reserve and then say he's made slaves of us all, but that's a different story.
Hit the Alex Jones button.
Yeah.
Hit the Alex Jones button for the people.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
The delay is fun. But
my man's like Rothschilds. I'm like, yep.
But
Rothschild, Bilderbergs. But
look at his family. It's been what, a generation, maybe two.
Yep.
That wealth is gone.
Yeah, but.
I mean, his giant mansion is a museum. No, maybe I think there's still some that live there, but in a small part of it, so that they can run the museum, and they're not living with the wealth that he had. It gets split up amongst heirs, and then split up further, and wasted, and sometimes rebuilt back up, but it's not. It doesn't exist in the same capacity. We're not living off of that.
Well, what's amazing to me is the people that claim the socioeconomics ignore the socioeconomics. Generation one works their face off to build wealth. Mm-hmm. Generation two kind of like coasts with that wealth. Mm-hmm. Every third generation squanders whatever the first generation did. It's how it always goes.
Except in the Jewish and probably Asian communities.
Yeah, 100%. But that's because they.
But that's we can't. I want to be careful. I don't want to use this word, but I'm gonna have to use this word. Culture.
Are you serious? That is a gaslight for racism. How dare you bring up Asian culture and Jewish culture where they're obsessed with being married, staying together, having kids together, working hard together. You are a racist, my friend, for saying that or insinuating that.
Yeah. I'll do it again.
How dare you?
I can't. My brain cannot determine the right way to move. I just can't do it.
On TikTok, they're like, my ears. Did you tell truth? But listen, normal social economic. If you study any normal social economics, it is generation one that builds the wealth. Generation two coasts off the wealth. Generation three has no clue where that wealth came from because they didn't live with generation one, squander it and burn it down. Guess who has to rebuild it? Generation number four. That's who picks the whole cycle back up, unless you're in, an Asian or Jewish community and they just, keep working hard because they, teach family values and whatnot. But we won't talk about that because that's evil, racist, blah 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 blah. But that's the reality of the situation. So, what's always laughable to me is that when people claim that things were built upon slavery, the problem is the South was completely decimated at the end of the Civil War, completely like scorched earth. The phrase scorched earth comes from the Civil freaking War, the March to Savannah. Please look that up.
Mm-hmm.
The Union would come in,
everything,
kick your ass, and burn everything down. So
that you couldn't regroup, so that you couldn't rebuild.
You couldn't regroup, you couldn't rebuild, and guess what? Where are the gains from slavery after the Civil War?
Yeah.
The gains that happen in America is because innovators started the Industrial Revolution with a flood of a bunch of people from outside the country that had nothing to do with slavery, built the greatest nation of all time.
Now, obviously, the end of the Civil War was not the end of racism. And there was a lot of stuff that went on afterwards.
100%. No one's
yeah, of course,
doubting that.
Yeah, of course not.
No one's doubting that.
Just like nobody was like, meh, George Floyd, whatever. The whole country was like,
yes,
was like, this is awful.
Yeah, our entire country.
We agree with you. We agree with you, but no justice, no peace.
Yeah. And that's the sick thing about it. You had the entire country proving beyond a shadow of a doubt it was not racist by being appalled at what happened to George Floyd. But that wasn't enough. The arrests weren't enough. The firings weren't enough. We still got to burn down cities and kill 13 people, 5 of which were black. But it is what it is.
This is the insidiousness of critical race theory that I keep mentioning.
Welcome to 2020.
Yeah, I mean,
got to keep that racism alive.
We got it. Yeah, and I hate critical race theory. I hate it with a passion because it infects everything.
Yep.
And there's no cure for it. There's no cure. There's no atonement to be had for the original sin of whiteness.
Well, here's what's funny to me. What's the solution?
There is none.
What is the solution? The solution is always burn down, riot, people die, and then get pissed that people are mad that people are getting killed. Here's what's always the solution.
That's definitely the formula.
But we just need to have a conversation. Remember? That's what it always is. Well, what's the solution? Well, we have to have a conversation.
They're mad because they're not being heard. They're not talking.
Ooh. You're on the podium.
They're screaming. They're burning.
Yeah.
And how do you have a conversation with somebody who tells you that that the problem with America is whiteness?
Yeah.
And that you have did you hear Van Jones? I'd seen this clip. Well, I didn't see the clip, but I didn't watch the clip, and that was the problem. I saw this headline.
White liberals.
What's that?
Where he said the actual danger in America is white liberals.
Yes, he says that, but, and so it's like, okay, cool. That's the headline, and I'm like, oh wow, I agree with him, but I don't. Too. We don't actually, because he goes on to say that white people have a virus in them that basically makes them
whiteness
just automatically racist,
Oh.
That compels them to maintain white supremacy at all costs. This is the thing. We're privileged. There's nothing we can do to not be privileged.
Where'd your privilege go?
Yeah, I mean,
I could use that.
Yeah, I should be. I mean,
bro,
I should be living high on the hog.
Dude, you got a little bit of Jewish in you. You should be great, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but so you have this privilege. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it.
Of course.
And then on top of that, you unconsciously, at all times, work to maintain white supremacy, and there's nothing you can do to stop yourself from doing that either. You have the original sin of whiteness, and there's no atonement for it, and there's no cure for it. There's no atonement. There's no justification. There's no sanctification for it.
Matt, I figured out what's going to blot out your evil whiteness. I have your solution. You ready for it? This right here, that will blot out all of your whiteness.
You'd think that.
All your sins.
But there are critical race academics. Let's call them critical race priests who have
that's a good term.
Yeah, who have
but we can't go to church.
Yeah, right. Who have spoken out on that very issue. Yeah. That even when the white man is an ally, okay, when he comes alongside in solidarity, even then he's promoting white supremacy. Because he's setting himself up as a white knight who is the savior of all black people. So no matter what I do, I am an oppressor. And no matter what, but conversely, no matter what you do, you are oppressed.
Yeah, the problem though is I'm not. And the problem is you aren't. So here's what blows me away about this whole conversation. To your point, where's the solution?
There is none. There is no solution, and that's the point.
And when asked, okay, cool, what's the solution?
Well, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Let me come at you. There's two solutions.
Okay.
One is the real. Let me call it. How would I put it? Maybe the final solution, and that would be for all white people to be dead.
Okay, gotcha.
That, and now, has anybody 100% said that? I'm going to say no. No. We might be able to find one crazy person out there who's saying that. There's definitely a lot of people saying that white people need to die, white people, whatever.
But I don't think they're that crazy yet.
Yeah,
but yeah, sure.
But that is the logical end.
It is
of this thinking. The other less final solution would be for white people to disappear into the woods, never interact with society again, and thus, I've said this before, and thus white supremacy will only have an effective radius of 100 yards from each individual white person.
Okay, so the options are all white people die, segregation.
I mean, kind of more like a forced internment.
Yeah, or remember...
We should create a gulag system for white people.
It's so weird. Didn't Hitler do that? But yeah, it's so weird. Interesting. To your point is, when asked the solution from Black Lives Matter, what's the solution? It is... under the surface, all white people, all whitey bad, so get rid of white people one way or another, either eradicate or segregate. But have you seen the videos of Black Lives Matter making white people get on their knees and kiss the feet?
Yes. I wanted to get that video. I totally forgot about it. Yeah.
Oh, so subservience. So literally the thing that you think you claimed is evil, historically, you are going to do that to white people in 2020 who have never seen a slave and have never owned a slave. That's your solution. Which, by the way, conversely, you live in the same time period. You have never seen a slave or slave owner.
Peyton Hastings makes an incredible point that I totally forgot about.
He's a smart guy.
I got another thing to say about him too, but I'm gonna read his point. But you can't say hashtag Black Lives Matter when you're posting this black square, or it's considered racist because they want you to use hashtag Blackout Tuesday because Black Lives Matter hashtag is, that's how they're disseminating information. So when you're filling it up with your black squares, you're actually impeding the movement.
Okay,
so now you can't even use the right you can't even there's black only hashtags now.
I feel so virtuous right now.
Yeah.
I feel so virtuous.
My other point about Mr. Payton is that he went the extra step. And he went and tagged us on his Instagram story. So he's spreading the word. Thank you, bro. You get the Mando.
This is the way.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
Thank you, bro. You get the Mando.
This is the way.
This is the way. Yeah, I mean, here's what's amazing to me. Let's play the played out game. This is why I give libertarians a hard time. Okay, I'm a conservatarian. I've always claimed I'm a conservatarian. I'm not full on a libertarian, because if you play out libertarianism to its ultimate end, it is Mad Max. I hate to break it to you. It eventually will become Mad Max. It eventually becomes the strong versus the weak. Play out Black Lives Matter. What's their intent? Is it unity and harmony, or is it submission? Which is it?
Submission.
Because
Power.
all the action
This
I've
is
seen
this is
from Black Lives Matter is riots, looting, and 13 people dying, 5 of them black.
This is the other side of critical race theory, which has its origins in postmodernism. It's all about power.
100%.
Everything is about power.
Yep.
Every interaction, every action that a person makes, everything on this planet is about power. Power is the only truth, because truth is relative. Truth, there is no absolute. There's only my truth and your truth and his truth and whatnot. So then the only truth becomes power.
Yep. But hey, I hope this makes you feel better, bro.
Yeah.
I really hope that this makes you feel amazing. You know what I mean? Like, because this will really help out things. So here's the deal. If you're on TikTok right now, I got to cut you guys off. You got to head over to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. That's twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. You're missing the entire show. We've got a little bit longer to go here. We've got some more things that you're going to miss out on if you keep hanging out on TikTok. You got to head over to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. Make sure you hit that follow so that you can get our live every time that we go live. Sometimes we go Wednesday. Well, most every night we go Wednesday. Curb the madness that's going on, but you got to head over to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness to catch these amazing videos that we're about to post right now, and you're about to miss out on those because you're on TikTok and you can't see the entire show. So head over to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. Catch more of the strong one. Catch more of that sexy man, the mad scientist, Mad Matt, and be super virtuous and cool like me. See you guys later. All right, man, I'm back on, dude. Had to kick the TikTokers off, all 313 of them. Sorry. We love them, but they got to be on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness for the full show. You feel me? You feel me, dog?
I feel you. I feel you.
Play that beautiful bean footage, man. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I need some.
So we're gonna use this time now to highlight. So we've been talking about all the negatives going on. The destruction of our cities, the small businesses, black-owned businesses, black people dead, white people dead, death, destruction. And I thought this should be an opportunity where we highlight some of the positive things.
Amen, brother.
So I just found a few videos that you may have seen, you may not have seen, but there are some really positive moments in the midst of all of this madness. So
Amen.
I'll start with the first one. And you might want to, if you have children watching, which you probably don't, but if you do, there'll probably be some cursing in the background of some of these videos. So here we go.
We're here with you. All right? Okay? Look at Sorry. We're all here together, okay? All right? Come on.
Let's see. Bring up the next one.
It's not even like that. It's not even like that. It's about staying neutral. That's what's important. So I'm gonna put to this. These motherfuckers not staying, What's that? He killed somebody? Did he kill somebody? Nigga, that fucking squad did that shit. I get out my motherfucking family. Yes, I see them as human beings, just like I see everybody on this side as human beings. We're all human. This uniform doesn't make him a robot. Just like your uniform, your skin color doesn't make you a criminal.
Next one. If you can get it.
A video gives me hope, though, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is this: when you watch videos like this and actually see the reality of that, people are, you know.
You got to turn down your volume when you're talking. Hello?
Turn down your. I put it on mute because I know there's an echo effect when I put both on.
Yeah, you have to turn down your volume when you talk.
Sorry, bro. Play the video.
Okay. Okay.
I know you guys are thirsty. I wasn't yelling at y'all. Don't be looking at me like that. Just trying to spread a message, okay? I know you guys out here doing your job. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the ones that's doing it to us. You understand? We came out here peaceful, and this is what I'm trying to show y'all. I know y'all thirsty. Y'all gotta get it right now. We're gonna put some drink right here.
Good job, guys.
And positive.
Awesome. Love it. You'll love to see it. And then the last one. Oh, this one's great. This one isn't as like hopeful, but it's good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get him. You don't fuck why. That's 2 hands, any hours, that's cheating over the front.
Well, most of that video is just hilarious.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm sure I can't help but think what was running through the guy's mind as they're dragging him to the ground and then to the police.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help you.
Yeah, no, you don't effed up, Ray. You don't effed up, man. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is I think that even though here's what I would say about this entire situation. I think that everyone getting the most pissed about this, and this is a little bit to your point you were talking about earlier, I would say only 5% of Americans actually participate, and not even that. Like, even if you collectively put all these riots together, a very tiny percentage of Americans, very tiny percentage. Then you lump in a bunch of people that just don't know anything and don't know any better, and they're like, well, everybody's putting a black square on the screen, so I better do the same thing so I don't seem like a racist. Like, you've got a lot of people doing that, okay? What people are not seeing is normal, real Americans. Normal, real Americans look at George Floyd and see an absolute tragedy. They absolutely see a tragedy. They absolutely see how horrible that situation turned out and are not a fan of it. Okay. Clearly evidenced by the absolute outrage that ensued before these protests broke out and whatnot. Okay. Now, with that being said, now you've got Americans who were fully on board with, yeah, these cops need to be dealt with. That was bullcrap. Are now witnessing the other side of this, which is, Black Lives Matter hijacks the situation, and then 13 people die and 5 of them blacks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the voting bloc is going to do? Do you think that they're going to associate the actions of Black Lives Matter as orange men bad? Do you think that they're going to see
that's what they want?
That's what they want. But do you think people are going to see that, or are they going to be like, wait a minute, Minnesota is in a very blue state. Minneapolis is a very blue city. This went down in blue places. And then I know I have really selective memory, but a couple months ago, I was getting locked down in my blue state while red states were opening up long before this, which is interesting.
I hope that they go that far. Part of me is skeptical that they will, but at the very least, they're going to see. Wait a second. This was caused by a cop. What does Donald Trump have to do with that one cop in Minneapolis?
That's the other residual effect of this. Is I've already seen posts where it's like, vote, man, vote. Like Miami, like 230,000 people didn't vote in Miami last election. You gotta vote. You gotta vote. Even Tamatanga. I love Tamatanga, but he's like, this is why you gotta go out and vote. I'm like, okay, Trump 2020. And the funny thing is, all of his message board was all Trump 2020 people. You know what I mean? Because the people that actually vote, the 60 million people that will actually participate in this vote, are not going to look at this as a Donald Trump and the Republicans screwed up situation.
Not at all.
Intelligent voters are going to look and be like, yeah, look at all these blue states that still are locked down, that still are playing.
But suddenly don't care about.
Yeah, it suddenly don't care. And what's weird is a lot of these incidences are happening in blue states and blue cities. Interesting.
100%. The other thing is, I just had the thought. Oh, we should talk about Trump's walk to St. John's Church.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Because to me, okay, when I first saw it, this was my initial reaction. Because this was the day after I sent you that meme that started you back in social media.
Yeah, which rage quit me. Which I'm officially coming off social media after this, but yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. And that meme was about how the protesters had pulled him. Basically he went into his bunker.
Oh yeah.
So this is the day after a black man is murdered on the streets. This is Donald Trump's response to turn off all the lights at the White House and then retreat to his bunker. What a coward, kind of thing. This isn't leadership. We need leadership. Blah, blah, blah.
Next day.
And it's like, have you heard of the Secret Service? Do you understand how they function? Probably not. Let me inform you. The president doesn't make decisions on his security. The Secret Service makes decisions on his security, and he has to follow them.
100%.
All right? So when he retreated to his bunker out of cowardice, if that's what you think, you're an utter fool.
And hours later...
Yeah. And then hours later, that's my initial response. Bro, this guy's a baller. This is 100% a display of strength in the midst of chaos. He's like, I'm the center of the storm, and I can weather it, and so can we all.
Yep.
On top of that, I'm gonna go and these maniacs, these animals, these thugs, burn down a church, try to set fire to a church, in my city. I'm gonna go walk over there and check it out.
Yep.
But but half the people are like, oh, he held up a Bible. How dare he hide behind the Bible?
I've heard Christians say it was disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
And they're taking it like he's trying to garner votes. I honestly, I don't think he cares about the votes because he knows he's already got them.
Yes. And to people that are like, oh, I mean, all the chaos that's going, like everybody that's like, dude, this is going to hurt Donald Trump, all this chaos. I was like, the number one elemental thing that people are missing, that have completely forgotten about in 2020 is two factors. And I'll save my piece, and this is why the landslide's about to happen. In the 2016 election, Donald Trump didn't have a majority of Republicans voting for him.
Mm-mm.
He had a bunch of centrists like me voting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And those centrists aren't magically going to disappear because of any of the things that they've tried to pin to him. Let's get real. Every time there's a tragedy, his approval rating keeps going up.
Because he is actually a leader.
The leader. So now you're going into 2020.
From the front, not from behind.
Yeah, you're going in as the front runner with all of your Trump voters who are not going anywhere, with the added benefit of all those Republicans, aka the
Well, I'm a Republican registered, but you know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But now you have all those Republicans that didn't want to vote for Orange Man before are about to vote for Orange Man. Do you think that works in his favor or against his favor? Now, here's the other thing that you keep forgetting is the moment that Joe Biden steps on that debate stage and they realize quickly that he is not good old Bernie Sanders, who's going to vote for him? You think that Uncle Joe's going to stop all the racism out there?
No.
The guy who enhanced the crime bills, the guy that was horrible for blacks forever, the guy that Kamala Harris, who's probably going to be his VP, called him out for his racism on a public stage? The guy who just told black people that don't vote for him that they're not black, you're going to vote for him? And here's the funny thing. Do you really think that in June, any person's actually going to remember any of this in November?
If they do, they'll be voting for the old Trumpster.
I'm going to prove my theory right now. You ready for it, Matt?
Go for it.
I'm going to prove my theory. This is why none of you will remember or care about this in November.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody remember Tara Reid?
The actress from the American Pie movies or something?
No, the girl that accused Joe Biden of sexually assaulting her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
All women should be believed, right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, yeah, that went away. Hey, remember when Joe Biden said that you ain't black if you don't vote for him? Oh, that disappeared.
That wasn't really Trump? I thought that was
Trump. Joe Biden. Oh. You're not black if you don't vote for me.
Okay.
Anybody remember Obamagate? That's supposed to go down this week, by the way.
I remember the gate on his giant mansion that he bought after leaving the White House.
His place in Martha's Vineyard, right on the beach, because global warming.
Yeah,
sure. Even though he got beachfront property. Does anybody remember COVID 1984? Anybody remember that?
Well, we remember that it's less important than the public health pandemic. The public health crisis that is racism.
Gotcha. Do you remember Stay the F at Home? Stay the F at Home. Evil white person. Oh, do you remember how absurd those Karens were? Those white Karens that wanted to get back to work and run their businesses because they just wanted a haircut. I mean, they were killing every old person when they were protesting. By the way, not killing anybody, but remember that?
Yeah, and I remember that potentially millions died.
Do you remember social distancing? You remember what that was? Social distancing? Anybody remember China? China.
They haven't been in the news at all this year. What are you talking about?
Weird that they haven't been in the news. It's like somebody's controlling the flow of information. That's weird. Anybody remember climate change? No?
Hey, listen, I know what you're saying, but burning buildings does not contribute to carbon emissions, okay?
Yeah, burning buildings that gives off carbon doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't do that.
That's only if you burn fossil fuels.
Hey, do you remember World War III with Iran? Do you remember that one?
Barely. That was Trump's fault, though, right?
Well, no, we were supposed to go to war with Iran, but we
because
didn't.
Trump's terrible, right?
Because Trump literally did nothing to the Iranians and has kept a blockade around their country and let them destroy themselves. That was going to start World War III. But what actually happened was the Iranians shot down a Canadian plane, killing Canadians, and Justin Trudeau just gave them a nice big hug.
Mm.
Thanks for killing our citizens, don't you know?
Peace in the Middle East.
Peace in the Middle East, don't you know? With my blackface on 3 times, don't you know? Yeah, nobody remembers that. Ukraine? Does anybody remember what happened with Ukraine? The phone call, the transcript. Anybody remember that?
No.
Impeachment. I bet you remember impeachment. I mean, Trump's out of office, right? I mean, we impeached him.
Yeah, we got it. We got him.
We got him.
Got him.
He's be the president now, right? Bold statement of Nancy Pelosi defiantly ripping the speech in front of everybody. You remember that? They will remember it because Trump's going to use it in his campaign ads, and it's going to be hilarious. Does anybody remember the CDC or the World Health Organization? Anybody remember those guys? That were wrong at every single step of the way with the coronavirus?
Oh, what are you talking about? They were doing a bang-up job.
Oh, is that why they needed
yeah. Bill Gates told me. Bill Gates told me.
Bill Gates got it. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, he's a health expert, right?
But this is exactly why Donald Trump is going to landslide in 2020. Because not a single one of you will remember it. And guess what? The next cycle is going to happen. The next cycle is Orange Man Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Once Orange Man Bad doesn't work, they're going to go back to fear. So it'll be murder hornets. It'll be global warming. It'll be some bull crap that they'll try to get you to get scared for. It'll be something racial again. And by that time happens, guess what's going to happen in America?
Yep.
And the media is going to lose because this is their only shot at captivating America, and they're missing it. The only thing they've gotten us to do is burn down our cities and kill 13 people, 5 of them black. Guess when the media completely loses their power and nobody gives a rat's ass anymore?
When Trump wins the election?
When that starts happening again.
Football.
When that
call.
goes up in America, they're not going to give a rat's butt about that anymore. Because guess what? That, which is sad and shouldn't be king, is king in America. And then while this is going on, there's going to be some campaign videos of Joe Biden telling you that you're not black and Nancy Pelosi ripping up speeches and stats and facts that you can't get around from Orange Man. And then guess what's going to happen? A landslide.
Well, you know what? To add to your point, when football comes around, they can always use. So the cycle is Orange Man Bad. He did something that's terrible, and he deserves to be ousted. Into fear, something's gonna destroy us all. Into division, usually along racial lines. Well, in football, they'll just totter out Colin Kaepernick again, and he'll do or say something that'll
they've already
get us divided again.
They have people saying, "Oh, Colin, you were right, man. Colin, you were right. Colin Cowherd, you were right. I mean, you took that unbelievable stance."
How many knees are there going to be this football season?
Oh, tons. But you know what's funny? I don't think the NFL is going to play with that. I don't think they're going to play with that.
In the midst of riots like this?
The thing is, if you watched the NFL last year, the ratings went through the roof. You know why?
Because they put a kibosh on that.
They were uber patriotic. I mean, it was uber patriotic. I'm talking like there was like the cheerleaders were farting red, white, and blue. It was that patriotic, last year. And magically people started coming back. And I actually watched the NFL last year. I actually watched and gave a rat's butt. And I'm a reformed Midwesterner who's become a true Southerner and watched my college football religiously, if that makes sense. But here's the funny thing. red states are going to stay red. Purple states are about to go red. Ohio used to be a purple state. It's going incredibly red. I don't know if you've seen stats on that. And here's the thing that everybody keeps avoiding. They're like, Joe Biden is winning the national poll.
Just like Hillary Clinton was winning the national polls.
But then you go down the numbers, and then you start looking at the swing states. Trump's up by 15 points in all the swing states. And a landslide brought him down. like, that's what they're not telling you. Guess what? Everybody in California can hate Donald Trump, but that's why the Electoral College exists, because those psychopaths in LA, those pedophilic Satanists that live in Los Angeles, have no power here in Florida. You have no power. My favorite line.
You have no power here.
No power here. I love that line. The other one that I love is from The Dark Knight. Shocker. I quote that movie so much. Like, Dark Knight is just a microcosm of what's going on in this world right now, and people don't realize it's a documentary. But it's like, you have no power over me. I love that line.
What are you going to do with all you? Look at you. What can you do with all your power?
Yeah, all your rules. You think your rules will save you, and they're not. Like, I want to make a video about that with like Black Lives Matter and all these globalist psychopaths. I'm like, you have all these rules, and you think they'll save you. I love it, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing. Just let's remember that we're all normal human beings. Let's remember that we're all sinful, that we're fallen. And I never want to pretend that in these cases that I'm superior to anybody, because I'm not. I've been joking about being superior this entire episode, because I'm superior just because I do this. But I'm not. I'm just as evil. I'm just as rotten as every single person. The only difference is, the only distinguishing thing that makes me different than everybody else has nothing to do with race or my genitals or my intelligence level or whatever. The only distinction,
how much money you make,
how much money I make, or whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, the number one distinguisher is, am I in Christ or not? And what's scary to me, what I've been noticing more and more and more as this thing's going on, is you're seeing Christianity exposed really quickly, and you're getting the wheat separated from the chaff. You're getting goats from sheep, and you're seeing people who actually cling to the word and people that don't. So I would encourage you this on Plausible Foolishness. The last thing I'm going to say is this. You need to know who Jesus Christ is. You got to figure that out. And once you figure out who he is, get in his word, because he speaks to all this madness. And I feel bad, and I want to apologize for people that call themselves Christians that have taken this opportunity to create more division. Because in Galatians, it clearly tells us that there is neither Jew nor Greek, free or slave, man or woman in the body of Christ. If you're in the body of Christ, which is the only distinguishing thing that's going to matter when you're dead, is whether you were in Christ or not. Because I guarantee you this, Christ does not care if you had a black square up on your Instagram. That's not going to save you. Your works are not going to save you. They're nothing but filthy rags. The only thing that will save you is the color that really matters, which is red, and that's the blood that was shed from Jesus Christ for every single sin that we will ever commit. And if you put your faith and trust in that, if you put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ and turn from your sins, that is the ultimate thing. That is the ultimate end of days thing that you need, more than Black Lives Matter, more than All Lives Matter, more than any of this stuff. And I apologize to people out there that people of faith have fallen into this division and should be focusing on what's important, which is unity. But at the end of the day, the word of God is very true. Christ's truth will always divide every single time. And I pray that you get to know that truth. So those are my thoughts, Big Matt.
Yeah. Also, if you let's quote Dave Ramsey. There's only one way to experience peace. There's only one way to experience peace, and that's by following the Prince of Peace, Amen. Christ Jesus.
Amen, brother. Amen. Well, I feel super virtuous. I had a great show with you today, man. I feel like I'm the most virtuous person of all time, and I'll see you next week, man. And I'm going to try to avoid social media. It's not going to happen, but I'll try it.
Good luck in Godspeed.
You're going to reel me back in, brother. Yep. Thank you so much, guys, for following Plausible Foolishness. Make sure you head over to twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. If you really liked what you were seeing, share us, man. Share these clowns. Share the king of the rubes to friends, family, whatever, the people that need to hear this conversation. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of loud voices out there that are telling you that you're an evil white person and Black Lives Matter, and that the only thing that matters is Black Lives Matter, even though they're ignoring George Floyd. There is a different side of the coin. There's a little bit of truth that we bring every single day on Plausible Foolishness that might be able to help you with those conversations and those ideas. And that's what we're here for, man, at the end of the day. So share us. And if you really, really like us, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That supports this clown train and helps us go and helps us keep kicking butt. And shit, we're at episode 111, which is unbelievable. And I think it was mostly peaceful. What do you think, man? Was it mostly peaceful?
Mostly peaceful. Yeah, mostly peaceful.
Mostly. I love you.
Yes.
Have a good night, brother.
Peace out.
See you guys.